everybody. This is Amy Crowther, your independent Scentsy consultant. This is a training video that I'm creating on goal setting. Now, when you begin the venture of your Scentsy business, it's very important to be able to really start off your business on the right foot. This is the money that you're placing in as an investment into your business. And we want to make sure that you're getting the full value of that. So with that said, I'm going to go over step by step and how to set goals. This is a goal setting strategy that I have not created personally. I don't even know who created it. It's just, sorry guys. But it is a system that works, is what I'm getting at, okay? I use a goal system myself. If I did not use a goal system, and I use a few different ones, but this video will be one. If I did not use a goal system, I would not have a Scentsy business right now. I would not have gotten my shooting star. I would not have gotten certified certainly as soon as I did, and I most certainly would not have hit sensational start level 1. I wouldn't have paid for our Christmas in full from my Scentsy business, and there's a lot of other opportunities that would not have happened if I didn't have a goal setting strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys the goal setting strategy, which I've already kind of started to. With every new recruit that I receive, I do start the goal setting process with you by asking you strategic questions to help lead you and guide you along your path. Now, what I decided is, why don't I just put this in a video and share the goal setting steps, step by step, and anybody who wants access to it, can have it. So first, we're going to figure out what our goal is. Now, right now, your mind might be like so everywhere, okay? Thinking, oh, I have so many goals for my Scentsy business. First, we need to start with one. We need to start with your why. Why are you joining Scentsy? To get free Scentsy? To make money? What is your main goal? And then I want you, now that you have figured out which one of these is your main goal, I want you to now write down on a piece of paper a number, okay? You want free Scentsy. How much free Scentsy do you want? What's your wish list? What items do you want? What do you need out of the Scentsy catalog that you know of that you want as your free stuff? What's your goal? That's a goal. Free Scentsy. Okay, that's great. Like, that's a very vague statement. And this is why we write it down on paper or write it down somewhere and commit to it with somebody. Because otherwise, it's all it ever will be is a vague statement. And we do not have and achieve success with vague statements. So maybe it's money. That's great. Well, what's your goal for money? It doesn't have to necessarily even be your top goal, guys. Like, what amount of money do you feel would be valued in your household? And it just make sense and make it worth it that you've fought the kid and that you've spent your time, besides getting your free half price Scentsy, how much money is it? Is it, a car payment? Is it a buffer, emergency fund, $100 a month? Figure out what that first goal is, your why, and what would make you satisfied with your Scentsy business. And write that goal down. Now that we have determined what the goal is, I want you to affirm it. I want you to write, I will achieve blank by blank date. And you don't have to pick your dates right now, but you do need to fill them in. A lot of times we don't want to do this part, okay, guys? We're really good at coming up with goals. It's very natural to not want to make a date or a commitment because we're human and we're terrified of failure. We're scared of failure. We have fear of failure. Why do we have fear of failure? I'm not going to get into a great big huge speech, but I am going to tell you that failure is education. Okay? Just remember that. Jot it down. Really, failure doesn't define us. It doesn't value our worth. Failure is an education process. So remember that. So if that's why right this moment you don't want to write down what your goal is and when you aim to achieve this by, then think about it and try it. Just write it down. You don't need to tell the whole world. You don't need to come on YouTube and make a video and say, this is what I'm going to do. Tell your mom, tell your best friend, tell your sister, tell your husband, tell your boyfriend, tell your dog. I don't know, like tell somebody so that you can go through with it. So that you have some sort of something driving you to achieve your goal, but not somebody that you fear. Okay? And that could be me too. Like it can be anybody. That's what I'm here for. Or your sponsor. So rather than thinking, what if I don't succeed? Think, what if I do? So write it down. Okay, step 3. Step 3 I actually kind of already did with the goal. Step 3 is really supposed to be a specific goal. So how much, how many customers you're going to have, etc., etc. We already talked about that. Sorry, I worked backwards sometimes. But to me, there's no, like, it's all the same steps. So make it specific. Okay? So if you already haven't made it as specific as you can, make it more specific. And I shouldn't be using that word because I can't say it right. Okay. And then your time frame. So make sure the time frame that you're choosing is concrete. Mind you, it can change again down the road, but for this particular goal, I want you to put a solid time frame on. Every goal that you make should lead to your why. So this first goal that we just wrote down is your why. This is your main focus. Everything that you do in your business and every additional goal that you set out to rock, you need to make sure lines back up with your why. Because what we're going to do is we discover your why. And then once we discover your why, we start working on the different strategies and different ideas that can have its own sets of goals that you can do consistently to be able to get your business really rocking and off to just a crazy start. So remember, all of your goals that you're going to write down on paper from this point forward is going to be lined up with your why. The only time those goals should change is if you've refocused your why. Your why changes, and then the remainder of your goals change. But you should always be on task as your why, because this is the reason why you're doing it. So ultimately, this is what's going to make you happy at this moment in time. And again, your why might change down the road, but for now, all your goals meet your why. I want you to now write down who you are. There's my cat on my shoulder. Who you are. What are your values? Who are you? You know, sometimes it seems like it's an easy question, but when I have to write down who I am, now it's a lot easier for me. But in the beginning, I was just like, who am I? It's a good question. Don't put down who you think people want you to be. Don't put down who you think anybody wants you to be or expects you to be. I want you to put down who you are and what you value. Because every strategic plan you come up with needs to not just link to your personal life. Your plan needs to link to your values, who you are. Because in no way do you want to be running a business and going against who you are. That's actually what's going to make you successful in your Scentsy business, trust me, is just being who you are. So zone in on that. Take some time, if you need it, to write down of who you are, but jot that down. And now, together, you are going to take your why and you're going to take your values and you're going to chunk it down. What do I mean by that? Just like what I was saying. By figuring out what different things and ways you try things that meet your values, who is not changing who you are, that is leaning in the towards of creating your why and the answer to your why. That's the path you need to take with your Scentsy business. Those are the decisions that you need to make. And then almost finally, you need to condition yourself for positive responses. I'm trying to think how to word this. You need to control your emotions. You need to stay at like a peak emotional state. Your focus needs to be on the things that are going to drive you to your why. So if you get a no, don't focus on a no. Basically, it's like target fixation, target fixation. Okay? You're driving in your car and you're staring at headlights and you're staring at headlights. And if you just keep staring at the person's headlights coming towards you, your car is going to go over into the other lane and you're going to smash into them. We don't do that. Our brain tells us, hey, what are you doing? Don't stare, you're going to drive into them. So we don't. So, we straighten out a wheel and we look straight, even though there's a distraction right here. We don't do it because we don't want to drive ourselves right off the road or kill somebody else. The analogy might be a little different, but really that's what it is. And when you allow fear and when you allow failure to distract you, that's what you're doing to your business. You're just going right off the road, right? Instead, embrace your fear. You can still have fear. Keep it internal. Go head on. Because those things that you fear the most, when you don't allow fear to have any factor over you in those areas any longer, it's going to change your life. That fact alone is going to change your life. And I sound so corny, but it's really true. When you can just not have a fear of people's judgments, people's thoughts, you don't overanalyze everything. And understand that some people just, so a customer doesn't want Scentsy. Am I going to stop talking to them because they don't want to buy Scentsy from me? No. Because I'm a social butterfly. I'm going to continue to blossom and grow my relationships with these people. And maybe someday they'll want Scentsy. Maybe someday they won't. Maybe someday somebody in their contacts will be interested in Scentsy, even if they aren't. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have any expectations, and I don't take any offense if somebody doesn't purchase or sign up under me for Scentsy, because it's not personal. It's not personal to them, so why should it be personal to us? Take your no educate, learn from it, learn from your fear, face it head on and forget about it. And one of those things that are going to help you forget about it is when you comes down to conditioning yourself on being happy. Focus on the things that you did right. You know, we're so negative towards ourselves. We pick ourselves apart and we want to focus on all the things that we've done wrong or could have did different. So why don't we just look at those things and say, I did that wrong, could have done that different. Maybe I'll try that next time. Great. What did I do right? Right? You know, like, oh well, you know, I borrowed a warmer and I got a warmer in 3 bar sale. Like, let's celebrate that. That's great. You've introduced somebody new to Scentsy and you have a new customer. You know, maybe you're really nervous about talking to people about parties, and you know, it's like, well, I've talked to 10 different people about having a party, and maybe like your first 14 said, 14, I just said 10. Your first 9 said no, and maybe it's your 10th that said yes. You know, celebrate that yes. Forget about the no. When you condition yourself to be happy, you're going to be focusing on the positives, and you're going to be celebrating yourself for who you are. And you're going to find that you're going to grow naturally into running your own Scentsy business that's going to actually be extremely fulfilling, along with something that's going to be financially helpful as well to whatever your why is. Finally, be accountable. Okay, folks. Again, find somebody who you can trust, who maybe you don't fear so much. It can be your sponsor, husband, friend, mom, sister, it doesn't matter. Make somebody who cares. You know, tell them exactly what you've written down. Tell them what your action plan is. Maybe brainstorm with them. Maybe they can come up with some ideas too. Ask them for their input. And ask them to be your cheerleader. And they will. And that's the person you turn to and you celebrate your successes with, along with your, you know, your sponsor and your team. And just trust me, try it. It all starts with a goal. I guess that's it, guys. I won't talk any longer. So please, please, please go through the steps of goal setting. Please, please, please watch this video twice if you have to. And I'm sorry if I rambled, but if you watch this video twice, I think that it'll start to come full circle even more and understand why it's important. And then come back to me and tell me how you make out after just your first week of setting out to making this why happen and this goal happen. Thanks, folks. Have a sensational day.